Hello, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Studio Fizbin live stream. We are doing our fourth live stream in our series leading up to the launch of Reignbreaker. I am once again your community manager, Ian, and I am joined today by another two of my colleagues. To my left, I have An. An, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, I'm An. I'm a 3D generalist, 3D artist at Studio Fizbin, and I worked a lot on the environment and set dressing.
Sweet. And also with me today on the far left, we have Philip.
Yeah, hi, I'm Philip. I'm the design lead of Studio Fizbin, and I guess my main responsibilities today are to make sure that other people can do what they are supposed to do.
Yes, and also an expert on all things game design. So I have brought you on today because I want the focus of today's stream to be on advanced tactics and character progression. And in your role, you helped oversee a lot of these decisions. And I know that I'm going to struggle today with what I've set out to do. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
An, I think we lost you.
ah, my camera just died. I'm so sorry.
It's all right, but it looks like we've entered another dimension. Um,
I'll try to
I'm
get it
Anne
back
now.
on.
I stole your profile picture.
yeah, not yeah, you're cute little guy.
I'm s Oh
It's
my
okay.
god. Hold on.
We can keep moving on, but just
Yeah, I'll fix
uh,
it.
I'm visible, so you can all just look at me
The most
instead.
important person is
Obviously,
there.
and at least we have your voice, Philip. So I'm gonna move over, boop, to the game. And let's get right into it. So basically, for the last couple streams, I have been working to defeat the Chimera boss, who is the first major boss that you come across. I did manage to beat its first phase, but then when you go back to fight it, it suddenly has two phases. Oh my god. So I've been struggling a little bit against that second phase. Last week we were looking at the shotgun, and this week I want to take a look at a little more of an advanced weapon, which is the Tornado Javelin. So if you've watched our streams before, you know that there's a lot of... Yeah, we're back! Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I know Anna's dealing with a less than amazing camera at the moment, so thank you for powering through.
I'm the queen of scuff.
So, the first thing that we have to do is actually choose a javelin. So I'm gonna go all the way down to the bottom here, and I, have, by cheating, unlocked all of the javelins that we have available. And I want to choose one of these tornado ones. So just taking a look, you can see that these all have the basic bayonet of Tornado, which is a javelin that pushes enemies away with great force but deals little damage. So, Philip, do you have any suggestions for a good all-rounder maybe, or something that would work well for my first real attempt at a run with the Tornado Javelin?
Yeah, so I think the Tornado Javelin is quite interesting. It has high heat costs and comparably low damage for what you essentially expend here. But you get a lot of crowd control options here. There are moves that suck enemies in and push enemies around. It's also quite noticeable that the stomp and the throw actions both hit quite a lot of time, so it works well with status effect applications.
Oh, so it would be good with like Rust, or which is
like Rust works really well with that. Yes. There are a few considerations here. You can use this as like a zoning tool, and I would recommend using like two javelins for this, and you use the javelin specifically for zoning in this situation. But here in our case, where we want to use this as our main tool, I think Rust is a really good option here to make sure that we like essentially pump up the damage on a different axis than the actual javelin damage.
I like that.
And we want to have like a focus here that like essentially we use our stomps and throw nows to deal damage because they will apply lots of rust.
Testing something.
Yeah, so let's take a look at how this looks, since we haven't shown this on this stream before. And yeah, you can see after 2 stomps, I'm already risking running out of heat. So I'm gonna punch this to recover a little bit. But yeah, so that was the stomp attack, and then the throw also creates a cyclone. Now, I noticed that this guy is moving in the same direction as the throw. So do the enemies that you hit with the tornado keep moving in the same direction?
Yes. So if you stomp, you will essentially lock them into one specific location, but the throw will keep traveling forward, which means you can like collect enemies in a line essentially, or pull them all towards the center.
Okay.
If we go with the manual here, we will see that this is like a single hit attack.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was just enjoying that. And then the strike is boom. Okay.
Yes. So this one has less applications with Rust now because it's only a single instance of damage. But it has a strong knockback effect, so we can make we take a huge advantage of traps because we have essentially like the strongest knockback tool in the game, and this allows us to push enemies into basically anything that we find.
That sounds good, and because I love using traps, I know a lot of players that I've watched also love using traps, and this is a lot easier to move things around with than just punching, which gets some kickback, but. Like you can see here, but compared to boom, that's gonna be really nice.
And as for like items in the run, we will be looking for things that upgrade our heat consumption, or our heat like regeneration, just to make sure we can actually use this javelin quite a lot. But there are many ways in this game to almost put this to infinite, which almost puts down the downside of this javelin. We just have to get to this point.
Okay.
And if we reach this position, we will be able to trap most of the enemies almost permanently.
I like the sound of that. So with that in mind, rate my build. So here's what I've got. I've got your basic health upgrade and heat upgrade, which also sounds useful because this is using up a lot of heat. I have the dashing increase because I love to dash around. I have the strike, which is always good to bring with. I was also thinking a good combo with the tornado javelin would be the trapper items, because he can spawn things like bear traps, and there's also I think some heat recovery items that he gives. So I took the item that increases the likelihood that you're going to find his items in your run. I also have the restoring health after each lockdown, and I have one resurrection. Now, would you change anything here?
Yeah, well, like, first let's talk about this a little bit in general for what we're actually going for with that.
Yeah.
So I think an interesting part of Reignbreaker is that we kind of combined this roguelike structure with a general campaign progression. So you go into the same run, but the run evolves as you play, and so does your player character. So a lot of the upgrades that we have here actually evolve Clef's capabilities. Like not only in an like you deal more damage, but also you have this additional move now. So you will have like this like feeling of not only becoming like stronger, but also becoming more experienced and more advanced players with more and more like tools that you add to your repertoire. So loads of these things here add an additional move, or have like a specific condition that you have to meet, or a specific play style that gives you some benefits if you like engage with that. I do think that the build here is quite good. Healing from the lockdowns, that's like the lockdown, like post-lockdown healing item in the first run.
This one.
Yeah, this one here, Spoils of War. This is quite a strong effect. If you start counting how many lockdowns you actually complete in each floor, this is a lot of health that you get from that. And then the max health increase obviously works great against bosses because, well, having more resources to go into this fight will give you more time to actually win that fight. So I do think this is great, and Resurrection also ties in well into this because it gives you an additional chance.
Yes, and I always feel like I need that extra chance.
Yeah. Something I do think that's quite interesting with the Tornado Javelin is because of its limitations. In terms of how much heat it costs and how little damage it does, it makes a lot of sense to bring Rekka upgrades with you.
So that's the punching.
Like, for example, or alternatively, we could go for the second Javelin and then have a low heat cost Javelin, but also have the ability to swap between Javelins to recover some of this heat.
That's right, because I always forget that's something that happens when you switch Javelins. You can equip a second Javelin in the armory. Switching reduces heat. This effect has a 3-second cooldown. So minus 20 heat. That's pretty good.
Yes.
Maybe I do want that, but then which one do I want to give up?
Yeah, so I do think there are like three like really good ways to get this to work out of the get-go. I mean, obviously items in the games will always fix this up, but we could invest more into Rekka power, which means we have like a secondary attack that pushes more damage. But this also means that we have more tools to recover our heat because Rekkas will do so, right? We can go into the second Javelin to have like an additional heat recovery tool, or we could go into the execution slow all enemies concept. Which would be the capstone of the survival items.
Oh.
Because,
so this is kill time. Inflict slow on all enemies after performing an execution. Duration of all slow effects is increased. So that would help me by doing what?
So in this case, for once, we would go more for executions, which will already reset your times, but also just slowing enemies down gives you more opportunity to hit them with punches, which in turn will usually result in more heat regeneration.
That's clever. Okay, I've never taken kill time, so maybe I should just do that. But again, the issue is, which one should I give up? Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, well, I do think because we want to like play with the trapper icons, we have to keep that. And I do think the manual and the dash and health increases are quite useful to make sure that we get the best out of our basic tools. So it is between Rise and Spoils of War.
Okay, let's get rid of Rise. I'm gonna just bite the bullet and try to do this. Luckily, I do have enough currency to do this. Okay, but this is gonna be cool. I'm ready to do some bullet time. On, do you have like any favorite items that you always take or will never go without?
Ooh, I do like the Spoils of War, and I also like the slowing, the killing time, I think.
Killing time, okay.
That's its name, right?
Yeah.
So you already have the items with you.
Okay, great.
I hope I've packed everything.
This also means that if we find other ways of slowing enemies, we get essentially more time out of that because this item will also boost the other slow effects. And again, like more slowed enemies results in us having more time to recover our heat.
Let's see if I can get that kill time to trigger on my first combat. Ooh. Okay, and now I've also noticed that we have electrified enemies, which is another sort of more advanced thing that you'll notice after your first couple successful raids. Can you talk, and I'm just running around to show them. Can you talk a little bit about like electrified enemies and maybe other similar effects that certain enemies might have?
Yes, so after the first few runs we get empowered versions of enemies. These are basically enemies that have like some form of special ability or something that you need to take, like essentially need to keep in mind when attacking them. In this case, electrified enemies, they will bite back if you punch them. So instead of them taking damage, you will do so if you punch them, which will actually be quite a challenge for using the highest heat consumption javelin in the game, because this also locks down some of our heat regeneration.
Yeah. Okay, well, I did pretty okay with the very first combat. I'm also noticing that my bot is telling people to enter our Arden Steam Key giveaway, and maybe Gemma can remind me. I think that's already over. Let me know, Gemma. In which case, sorry, you missed your chance. Should have entered it in the last week. But maybe we'll have
I see you go. Tread carefully.
and maybe we'll have some other giveaways. Yes, okay, she confirmed. It's over. I always forget to change these bots. Hey, Beldraith, welcome back. I am trying to get my hands, wrap my brain around this, tornado javelin. Now I keep forgetting all of the things I have at my disposal. So let's try this bullet thing. So okay, I see. So he stays slowed for a little while, and that's the swirly icon above him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now you see you also slowed like the turrets down, and like slowed enemies, like they I mean obviously they still attack, but like as long as you can react to them, you will be way faster than them. So you should like there's still something that you need to take care of, but you have like paused them in some sense where you get a breather now and you can take them way slower. For once, obviously allows you to recover your heat, which is really cool, but it also allows you to, for example, like ignore a beholder for a little longer so you can finish other enemies first, or ignore a few of the other enemies around so you can finish the beholder before it actually gets to you.
Yeah,
You mean the
it's great when
overseer?
they're
The overseer, yeah, sorry.
Okay, let me see if I can actually use this since I wasn't shooting by these guys in these spikes. Crap. Dang, I'm not doing
No
well.
use. The javelin is overheating.
Oh.
you heal up about after the lockdown, right?
Yes. Hopefully. Just a little bit. I didn't manage to keep this build thingy. But I think I'm overthinking it a little bit. It does seem really effective if I just do one of these whirlwinds and then sort of punch it down.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to push them, like, as you mentioned, sort of get them going into a line.
Yeah, so we see essentially like the tornado just keeps them all together because like pulls them along its travel path.
Yes.
It will not stun lock the enemies in there, but it like keeps their position essentially traveling with it.
Okay.
But obviously if you then move in there and punch them, you will like stagger all of them as the tornado pulls them together, so you hit all of them at once, which is a really good combination of actions that you can do.
Oh man.
And you can also see that the application of Rust through this mod is really strong because it applies it really quickly, but it also keeps it active on max stacks for a long time because it gets reapplied for the entire tornado duration.
Yes, that's really good. And gosh, I'm just forgetting how long some of these lockdowns can be at higher difficulty levels. Phew.
Good
Oh, let's
job.
breathe. Welcome in, Knavish Crayfish. It's a good name. Thank you for playing the demo. That's really awesome to hear. Yeah, we decided to leave the demo up because we had a really good response during Next Fest. So yeah, you can still play it. That's why I left play the demo there at the bottom. Okay, so here I have another choice. Traps deal more damage to enemies and only deal scratch damage to you. Defeating an enemy drops a bear trap. I do like that. And slamming your javelin into gearbox boosts your heat recovery for 5 seconds, which is also good with my low heat build. What do you think? I'm thinking between scrap metal or hunter's retreat.
So I do think all of them work quite well with the Tornado Javelin. Like boosting traps is great because we have a tool that pushes enemies quite well into traps. Scrap metal is also quite great because creating more traps is also a way to have more things where you can push enemies into.
Yeah, I'm wanting to just have traps everywhere.
So I'm a huge fan of scrap metal in specifically these runs because it's really good versus the Spitface boss fight.
Ah, okay. Well,
Because
That's
you keep getting them for all of the little spike bosses die, so it can be your main like tool for actually beating the fight. So
That is a
I
good
tend to
point.
frequently pick this up in the first section of the game if I can get the offer on this, just so because it's just a really good and reliable tool for the first higher challenge that the game throws at you.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, now this is a time limit I'm pretty worried about. Oh, I did it! Oh my god. I was about to say I'm pretty worried about my ability to do this. Okay, ooh, an epic. Bear traps have a high critical hit chance, and all critical hits inflict bleed on enemies. Oh, dang. Well, I feel like I have to get that because it's epic. Do you disagree?
And this is also a really cool item. Like we have like one of the big pieces here. So first of all, I think we should take this just because we have the bear traps now,
Yes.
and boosting
Yes.
them is great.
Yes.
But this results in all critical hits dealing bleed damage. And there is an item that makes your weapon mods deal bleed damage. Bleed is again a status effect that stacks up really quickly, and if you can stack it up highly, you get huge rewards out of that. So in combination, this can essentially result in more bleed tick up on your like javelin attacks if you manage to also put crit chance on them or find the other item, and then we can stack rust and bleed with our tornado attacks.
Okay, sick. And what could you remind me what exactly is the effect of bleed?
So yeah, bleed is like a damage and status effect, so essentially it sticks up to 10 and will deal damage over time, but if you manage to hit the 10, the entire status effect is consumed and the enemy takes a
nice.
huge chunk of damage at once.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
So if you manage to find like a really fast hitting attack that can apply bleed, you're usually already set on the damage department.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm feeling good about my build here because I did get that Master Trapper upgrade item, so I will be getting what are those? Oops. Ah! Be a little careful here because I'm running low on health, but although I'm getting close to the last... Oh, just kidding, there's another wave. Okay, ah.
Yeah, but
Ah.
yeah.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Crap. Oh god. Oh. Okay, well, we're gonna be real careful over here. I'm not gonna go near these guys. I'm gonna let them come to us.
The javelin
Except I'm out of
shrugged off.
But you do have to punch him, yeah.
You just give him a little tap. How about you? Oh no. Oh. Too long.
Yeah, you got them good though.
Oh, that's amazing.
If I get him, will I get in the acid?
No, you have a short time, so you can get in and then quickly dash out.
Gotcha. Oh, thank goodness.
Well, what were you hiding?
Okay, bleeding enemies are also infected with drain, but your maximum health is reduced. Increases maximum health. Getting hit deals 200 damage. So, what do you think? Should I get drain or just good old preservation? Because I will be increasing my maximum health because I got the item that increases your maximum health every time you drink from the fountain. So,
yeah, so I do think drain is quite good, especially if you're low health.
yeah.
But we only apply bleed with critical hits at the moment, which is probably not good enough in the
True.
foreseeable future.
But do you
unless we
think I
find
will get something that will make me more likely to cause bleed? Should
I mean, I'm pretty
gamble?
sure we will get something. The question is, how many fights do we have to survive until we get that?
I'm gonna go risky style.
Okay.
Because not that many, right? I'm like at the end of this room. I might have some
On to
other
the next
enemies who.
Yes, and there will be some healing going forward. So
I'm not even sure if I want to get the treasure. I guess it depends on what stuff. Oh, good, it's one of these, so I can just easily bypass that. Ah! Oh my god, jump scare.
That's vile.
Oh, you nasty little turret. You.
No, but I think you put in a lot of these like, moments where you're just like running somewhere and then
Great
just
find.
some danger just pops
there's
up.
an enemy. Yes, they're frequently on the side, so you have reaction time, but they are there to surprise players.
Oh, you. Okay.
I think that's great though.
Sipping
I
my
mean, I
coffee
like
every
that.
dash.
Yeah, me too. Oh, there you go.
Knavish Crayfish asks, I know the weapon you wield is javelins, but did you ever play around with other weapon types like a lance to fit the medieval theme? Well, this has been a point of contention, I will say, because if you look at our javelin, it is a medieval
Can't use the
lance,
javelin when
basically,
it's
but the
overheated.
in-universe name for it is the javelin with a capital J, like a proper noun. So, I don't know, do you guys have anything else to say on that? Ooh,
Yeah.
oh, I can't afford it.
I sometimes even call it a spear, but I think that's just like completely
That's just you.
off the wrong end.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
It's a spear. I don't know if there's a difference actually between javelin and spear. Oh, let's push that. Yeah, get in there. Oh, my aim's bad.
No.
Oh,
Yes. There we
That is
go.
a test it out.
oh. I feel like their jumps are so nasty today. Did they get like faster on higher difficulty levels, or is that just me coping?
Like there is like a randomized boost system for enemies in place that has the potential to boost up their movement speed.
Oh.
Oh, that's interesting.
Shouldn't be like super much, but they can become slightly faster, and on higher difficulties this will happen more frequently. There are also a few other effects in there, like them having more defense and so on. And what's an interesting part with this is that many enemies that move during their attacks, like backgrounds that jump at you, will also jump a little further if they have more move speed.
Oh, okay.
So they can sometimes get you by like being more aggressive with that, and also using the aggressions to do like less predictable attacks, if you want to put it in this way.
So it's not my skill issue, but it's actually designed that way.
That's right.
That's great.
Like enemies on later runs are quite a bit more difficult because of some like stat adjustments that they get, and also there's obviously a larger variety of enemies that you have to like consider at the same time. Many lockdowns spawn more enemies at once, so you have to make sure that you like keep all of them in mind while playing. The game gets quite difficult on the really high levels.
Okay. Bear traps deal more damage and have an increased critical hit chance. So this seems like a really good one, and it's uncommon. Increases critical hit chance against rooted enemies, and traps deal more damage to enemies. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it. I mean, depending on what you want, but I do think it's nice to start this like complete bear trap build.
Yes. Let's get trapped.
This will encourage us to pick up one more like bear trap item that spawns one before we reach the like corrupted knight, because there will be a hard time spawning them with just the item that spawns them when enemies die. But there are a few options that can help us here.
Oh my god, this is such a small. Oh, I was so stupid. I walked right into the camera. Oh my god, I'm cooked. Okay.
This is not a good fight.
Oh god, oh god, oh
no.
god. Crap, okay. Oh.
GG.
GG. Well, I don't know how good it was, but that's okay. You know, I as I said, this is kind of my first time like really using the tornado javelin, because correct me if I'm wrong, but you get it sort of late in the campaign, right? Like
yes, it's one of the last javelins you unlock in the game.
Okay, so like I mostly play in the earlier areas because like, you know, I'm the community manager. I share parts of our game, but I can't share a lot from the the end, so I don't play there that much anyway. So I'm not that good at the tornado, but that's why I have you here again. But I actually want to take this moment to switch to a different topic for a second, because we have with us On again, and On, you did a lot of work doing the level design, is that right?
Not the design, but like the set dressing, basically.
And what does that mean?
So basically, usually building the levels is split up into two parts. So the game designers, like Philip and the others on the game design department, they basically create the layout and where everything is supposed to be, so it like feels nice to play around and run around in the levels. And then the art team goes in and just makes everything pretty, basically replaces boring cubes with an actual object.
Okay, that
Does
makes
that make
sense.
sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you prepared a little a selection of videos and pictures for us to look at, I guess, that are sort of showing how you did a lot of this set dressing over time. So let me head over to that real quick. And it starts with a video, so let's take a look. I think this is like showing some super early footage of the game, right? Let's
Yes.
take a look. Oh, I'm gonna turn off the video sound.
I thought it would be interesting just to see the whole like development of the levels and the art style just like over time.
Yes.
And this one is from when I just like joined. So this one's from 2023. So two years back. Over 2 years back, actually.
That is wild. We have come a long way, I'd say.
Right? If I remember correctly, the game has already been in development or like in the prototyping phase for at least half a year before I joined.
At this point,
So
that we're seeing right here.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. That's why there's like a ground, there's textures, there's already some assets, and there's the like super old Belgrand So this is what it looked like
Okay.
at first. So you can go to the next slide.
1 second. There we go.
So when I joined, we were basically just like starting to explore everything from how we want the game to look, the shaders, and like the lighting, etc. Juliano, the tech artist from last stream, also has a lot of like great videos from this time, but we can't show all of them, so I just like put one in here, and I put this one in just because there's like a close up of the like super old Belgrade. And,
Yeah, also,
yeah.
I don't know if you were going to talk about this, but just the thing that jumps out to me is how different Clef's design used to be.
Oh yeah, that's true. She looked very different. She'll go through a few transformations. Uh, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
She had the long red hair for the longest time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Exactly.
Whoa.
And this one, the last video was from like March 2023. And we'll do a little bit of a jump. So just like, I just wanted to have like an in-between slide of like what the development look. In the top left corner, you see a little bit of sketching, of just like concepting. And then on the top right side, you have a bit of a fake screenshot. Right. So the vision has been very strong from the start. Right. And we were just like figuring out the shape language and just like how everything should look, and like working on environment kits and a lot of different things at the same time, to be honest. Everything from environment design over character design, enemy design, just a lot of visual development, I suppose. Right? And then you can go to the next slide, please. And this is, while the art team was working on all of that, this is what the game designers had been working with.
Okay.
And they also were working on the level block outs, and they're a little bit more like simple, right? There's a lot of a placeholder art, sometimes even like super old assets. You can see the purple cube down there, right? I don't know if you want to mention anything about that, Philip. But,
I mean, for once, I think it's really nice to see like the really old levels again. But I also want to highlight what you just said with like the designers essentially built like the early stages of the level where we put things in a way that we think that people understand where it should be and how it like essentially you encounter it in the right moment and things that feel nice to engage with. And then art goes over them and makes sure that people actually like the things that they play and find the things while they play through this thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Next, please.
Somebody asks, is there a particular reason why the borders are in ice draining red?
This was just like a debug thing where we like essentially just for us to see where the boundaries are, where we were building the first levels, make sure that we see the layouts well from top down. But like, there's no like practical reason for this other than this was easy to work with in the beginning of
Sure.
the development stages.
All right. Then got another video.
Let's see what that video is. Oh yeah, and then you can see it in action basically. You can see the Smashable statue. It's been in there for a long time.
And the crates were a
Yeah.
lot more boring.
That's true. That's true. And at this point, the game designers finally got a little bit of a new ground, something other than the purple ground that they've been working with for like a year. Next, please.
Yeah.
And yeah, and basically at that point, the game department and the art department have been working separately. So it looks very different on the art side, right? This is just like a very short video of me playing with the Beholder. Oh, that's what it was called at that point. It's the Overseer now, I suppose. It wasn't supposed to be hollow. Like, that was just a test, but you can see how different it looks. Yeah, next please. Yeah, we were working on a showroom, basically like a vertical slice, and this is just an example of the art department setting up a block out just by themselves without like completely separate from the game department, but just like imagine that the game department is usually doing this type of work for us.
Okay, you're using some game designy terms here. So can you explain what a blockout is?
Oh, a blockout is basically now. How do I describe it? I can't use the word block and out, right? It's basically just like mapping out the placement of objects, and it's like creating the ground, like an empty building.
Sure.
Right? Just the bare bones of everything.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And what is a showroom?
We call it a showroom just because we just wanted to show a bunch of assets because this was supposed to be part of a milestone for a vertical slice. It's
So
just
basically
like
showing
showing.
like a small but complete room, basically,
Exactly.
that will look like
Yes.
the final game, but it's just one single room, so we don't have to design a level, but we can from this one room get a sense of what the whole game is gonna look like in this
Yes.
biome.
Very well said, Ian.
Uh,
And next, please. Um,
Google Sheets is giving me some issues.
and this is like another step a month later or so, I believe, right, where we had some like new designs for some of the traps, some assets that we've been creating. At this point, we were just like creating a bunch of environment assets to just like a lot of concepts for this one certain biome.
Yeah,
The
this is a
main
huge step
biome. Just
forward.
yeah. Next, please. And yeah, this is
Oops.
basically what it looked like. Oh, you can go back 2 times. One more time, right? So this was the almost finished showroom. You can still see, like in the back, we didn't have assets for a bridge, so we just like lined up a bunch of traps
Yeah, so
just so you could
back
see
here.
that's a pathway. Yeah, exactly. And you can see some of the assets that later get a little bit of a reskin, and just still there's still some placeholder assets as well. Next, please. And all of this was made with modules. I set up a bunch of modules. Remember this, okay? Remember all of oops. Remember all of this. This will come back to bite us later.
Should we know what a module is?
It's it's like a building block, basically, like a piece of Lego
Okay,
that
and
you
that's
just put
just
together to
something,
create.
a building block within our engine Unity.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
gotcha.
So all of these are building blocks. And yeah, we decided on what type of lighting we wanted to do. Um, you can see the date, right? It's November in 2023 already, and you're like wondering why are they still not like done with the game? We've been setting up a lot of like art tools and just like working on game design, implementing things. And I just wanted to show you that with the tools that we had um, set up to this point, we were able to create a bunch of different lighting situations, biomes, colors, etc. And this is just like a quick test. Um, this probably took around an hour or something to set up, and you can see the range that we could have created. Next, please. Oh, by the way, we should thank Giuliano for a lot of these art
Sure.
tools.
Thank
Our
you,
tech
Juliano.
artist.
If you were in last
Our
stream's
magician. Right. And then this is the finished showroom that we had. I think it was the finished one, or like close to the final um, finished room. And you can see a lot of these enemies at this point have been like redesigned and like have gotten some like proper models. And the VFX are still somewhat placeholder, but the idea was there, right?
But yeah, these look a lot closer to the final version.
Exactly. So at that point, things were like finally starting to come together, and we could like slowly see the vision of the game. Yeah. Next, please. I think that was it actually for this video. All right. So we're in the next year, in 2024. I stole this from the game designers. They did some small draw overs, and at this point, we've talked about this earlier today. At this point, all of the tools were still like very finicky, and the game designers were supposed to also help with set dressing, or at least creating this level of like basic layout, right? So they can have like more control about what needs to be changed or how things feel, and then art just goes in and literally just does the decorating. Right? And things were like so finicky and difficult to do that it would just like take so long to finish one level that we decided to make things a little bit more easier, make bigger building blocks so that the people who basically do the base layout of the set dressing, that they can just like drag and drop items and build that way. Kind of like how you do it in Sims, I suppose, on like, I don't know, Animal Crossing. Next, please.
This is like a very dark version of The Sims.
Yeah, yeah. And then here are some of the like modules, the buildings
nice.
blocks that I made, and some just like cubes that I put together. Next, please. And this is what it started out as. Usually, you can still see the red borders are no longer there. We toggled them off, so it's the pure layout.
Nice.
Next, please. And then it I think one more, please. Next slide. And then this is what it ended up as. There's also like some like more newer. There's some newer environment assets as well, like the big pillars. Yeah. So that's what we started off with. Next, please. This might be a video of what it looks like. Oh yeah, most of the levels were still looking like this though at that point, right? You can also see some old UI, some just like really old traps and items. The rumbling thing over there is the floor lock, I believe.
Yeah, the thing that you unlock to start combat. For a while, it was just the shaky thing in the middle.
Yeah.
The vault is also a different design.
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah, and then we just, I think at that point we started to slowly go into full production and just like replacing all of the placeholder art. Did you go to the next slide yet?
Is this?
I have so many slides I don't even know. Oh yeah, yeah.
How did you prepare all of this?
I just went through all of our like reviewed documents.
Nice.
So yeah, oh yeah, you can still see it shaking. I think this was the sprint after that last video. So yeah, next please. Let's see what else I have put into this presentation. Oh yeah, next should be the last slide, it seems.
Okay, there we go.
So yeah. Oh yeah, and this is like the last step that we basically did for the set dressing. You can see me toggling something on and off, and it's a little piece of tech art, which we also have to thank Juliana for, where we basically do a little bit of manual labor where we paint in some extra lighting just to emphasize some lighting, because without this like manual labor, basically the level still feels a little flat and dull, and this just like really helped like push the looks over the finish line. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I like all these extra lighting effects because even though we only have one biome, quote unquote, you're able to create a lot of different feels between the different levels. And yeah, sort of like not as extreme as the one that you showed earlier, like where we had all of these different ones, but you still get that sense a little bit of different areas of the level feel very different depending on the effects that you add, and of course the lighting that's there and all the different pieces. So when we go back into the game, please feel free to stop me if there's any like interesting bit of set dressing that you want to talk about, and we can go look at that again.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I probably have to think about something, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Just let me know. Shout it out. Yeah, so Mecha Tails. Hi Mecha Tails, welcome in. Queen's engineers were having a rough day when they designed the shaky floor thing. Yeah, luckily they improved a little bit before the full game. How about the super sad statues of the lady crying? Why so sad? Oh, I don't know. Is there any lore for that? Maybe.
Oh yeah, there is. So basically we were thinking about different biomes, right? We had different factions originally. And they all just like, because of, you know, development reasons, we had to cut the scope down a little bit. So we ended up having a base biome, which is like the blue, we called it Argento Oculi. It's the faction that just like controls, no, it's like a surveillance faction basically. It's all about surveillance. And then we had a sub faction, but like a sub theme within this like overarching theme, which was more of something like a, I forgot what it's called. It's like a graveyard. I like to say it's like a graveyard. So all of these like weeping statues kind of belong to that sub theme, if that makes sense. If you walk around, you also see some like statues of a king crying, or like an angel weeping, and things like that. And those are that's the theme. Basically, all of the loot islands are themed after I don't know, like a grave, or was I keep wanting to say monastery, but that's not it.
Like a cathedral or a
Cathedral graveyard-esque vibes are
like a
definitely
mausoleum,
something gothic.
maybe
Yeah,
something
mausoleum.
also
like
fits
a
this, yes.
catacomb, something like that, right? Yeah. So that's
Cemetery also seems right.
yeah, cemetery also makes sense. Yeah, that's basically what these like weeping statues are themed after. I wasn't like too involved in the concepting of this, so probably like Maria or Frauke probably can say a lot more about this. But that's just the things that I've heard.
Okay, so I am right now, I have switched in for the dual javelin option because I want to try that playstyle a little bit, because I'm also not very good at using 2 javelins at once, but I want to get better. So I thought maybe it would be a good idea to pair like this with the railgun, because then I can also start raining destruction on these guys. What do you think, Philip? Is that...
Yes, this is one of the combinations that we want the players to go for. Like finding, I mean, doesn't necessarily need to be specifically this combination, but like combining the like tornado mod with something that has like a strong AoE effect is definitely a really good combination.
So I just need to practice that sequence a little bit. So yeah, you can switch when you have the dual javelin selected. You can switch with left trigger and then do that. Okay, so I'm gonna try to make that work out. Somebody asks, are the enemies we're fighting automatons, or are there tiny people inside piloting them? Maybe just tiny brains in there. Well, we actually did have a lore reason for this, but I think we're gonna not explain that, but in this stream at least. But there is an answer that you...
Yes, like there is a backstory for how these machines have been created.
I'm coming
has
for
been
you.
somewhat lost during development. Like not the reason, but the communication on that, because it was never really important to make sure that this is communicated.
Yeah, I mean,
But
there was
maybe
a
there
lot
could
of
be
lore
narrative.
Developed for this game, right? And I think that's true in a lot of games and other big works of fiction, right? Especially one where you're developing a whole fantasy kingdom with its own history and wars and stuff like that. So there was a lot of backstory written for this game that isn't actually in the game, but yeah, it would be cool to be able to share some of that at some point. Okay, starting another new build. So considering how I was not surviving for a very long time in the last game, like this is pretty appealing. I only take scratch damage with a 20-second cooldown and increases critical hit chance. This also boosts heat recovery, and traps deal more damage. I mean, general trap damage is also quite good.
Yeah, I like the first one.
You like Trap
usually.
Master? Let's go harder on
Yeah.
traps this
All
time.
fields removed. Onwards.
See what I can do. I need to get better at
I can press
Pushing
forward.
enemies into
pushing.
them. Like the throw is also a really good method for pushing enemies into traps. Like they need to be closer to the trap for that, but you can like pull an entire group of them into.
That makes
traps.
sense, and it's also probably easier to line it up because you get this
Yes.
Javelins
indicator on
overheated.
and it'll show you exactly what direction.
It makes them like slowly travel into the spikes.
Yes, a slow death, and by then they'll all have the rust applied. So that seems good.
Yes, I would assume that specifically with this item, you can probably one-shot almost every like basic enemy in the game by pushing them into spikes with that or other traps.
Oh,
Well, I
the
mean,
one
we
side
can
was
already
spikes.
see that this like pulling off this combo is really good damage already. Basically, 2 attacks finish like normal enemies.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about this combo. But now we have
Oh,
some spike. So let me see if I can push. Well, these guys may be harder to push, right?
They're a little heavier, yes, but it's just, I mean, it's really hard to push them with punches, but it should still be possible to do it with the air gust.
Let's see what I can do. Ah,
Probably a little hard if he sticks around back there, but it also means it takes a lot of damage.
can't use the
He
javelin.
also moves around a lot. Oh,
Yeah, it's like these overseers, like they're yeah.
there we
Yes,
go.
got it.
like they're really mobile. They deal a lot of damage. It's hard to stagger them if you can even do it at all. Some weapons can't get to them. Like, so you really have to focus on evading them and then finding your openings.
Well, what were you hiding?
Okay.
Oh, I like the last one.
Lead
Lead
together.
together.
Lead together, yeah, it's a really good item.
Okay.
Bloodsucker is also really good. Like, so Bloodsucker makes it so that you frequently want to get hit by enemies. It's just so much damage.
Yeah,
and it
so every
combines
time
really
I can say,
well.
"Oh, I wanted this to happen."
Yeah. It
And
also
also-
works really well with the scratch damage item, scratch item that you already have, because
Ah.
every 20 seconds you can purposefully now deal the explosion damage. I
Oh,
mean,
that's really smart. I'm gonna take that, and it's rare,
I
so
can
it's
raise the
better.
bridge now.
And you get damage taken reduced. So
yeah,
damage
it's
reduction.
just a really good package.
Avoid this and not die in the same place. Okay. Next. Yeah, that is a really good combo. See, I've been afraid of using dual javelins, but if you can just remember to hit the trigger, it's really good.
Yeah, like you can do actually like loads of stuff. There are loads of really advanced combinations where you use one attack to chain it into another from different javelins. But I don't think you need to go that far to make this useful. You just find 2 javelins that work well together.
So,
And
speaking of that
already has-
cemetery theme, sorry, I want to
Yeah.
point this
Perfect.
out real quick. This looks like we're in that cemetery sub biome, and I love this statue with the knives in its back.
It's just like us. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically whenever you
Supplies for
get to
keys.
one of these islands, we call them loot islands because you get a lot of loot there. Yeah, it's all
Trap switched.
as someone said in the chat already, it's a crypt theme basically. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So what else? I have already
On to the next room.
gotten all the upgrades I want in this place, so I'm just gonna move on. Not risking additional combat. Oh, but there's more treasure here. Let's see what we
Okay.
got.
But we should pick this one up.
Boom. Oh, don't even need. And boom. Oh, it's our friend.
Okay, let's do this one.
Hello.
He's so cute.
Ian, you might want to
Supplies for
re-enable the
keys.
sound again for the game.
Oh, you, I think, can't hear it.
I can't hear it. Okay, cool.
But
Then never mind.
chat, can you hear the sound of the game? I did turn it back on, but yes, unfortunately, due to the limitations of my technical know-how, my poor co-streamers cannot hear. Okay, good.
Oh,
MetaTales,
okay,
you
all
can
good.
hear. Thank you.
there's actually like the last room is something that I wanted to talk about a bit. So we have this room structure that allows you to engage in
What do you
as
have
many
for me?
fights as you want to, and then you can just move on to the next room. And a cool thing that this allowed us to do is essentially this allows people to move through the levels quickly when they're good enough to not need like a certain number of items, so they can like really rush through the game once you get used to certain mechanics. But the other thing that this allows us to do is that if the player actually goes for all of the fights, which requires you to manage your health because you have limited healing if you do that. But if you manage to do that, you can outscale the game, which essentially allows this game to make every run feel super powerful as long as you manage to pull through these rooms. Something that most roguelikes can't really compensate for, because like you find certain things and you have like a specific power level at some point. But in Reignbreaker, you have the opportunity that you essentially get more items that the game expects you to get at a certain point.
Yeah.
And this will just result in you becoming really strong at the later stages of the game.
I like that because I definitely, except I didn't do this just now, but in the previous few runs and generally while playing, I like to collect as many as I can so I can feel very OP. Let's see. I really like these cannon traps. You don't see them as much.
So these become, so the traps are similar like enemies. They become more frequent, like the more complicated traps or advanced traps become more frequent the later stages you are of the game.
And these
So
can
these
damage you, right?
Yeah, so all traps can damage enemies and the player, so they are like a double-edged sword, but they're also built in a way that the player can take advantage of them as soon as they understand how they work.
Got it.
So in the beginning of the game, you find like loads of spike traps and exploding barrels, which are like easier to understand and use. But during the later stages of the game, there's like a whole repertoire of really interesting traps that like give you different benefits than just damage in combat as well.
Yeah, like these cannons are really powerful, but I guess they're a little more random and can damage you for a lot if you're not careful.
Yes, they deal loads of damage, like way more than the spikes actually, but they have only like a small time window in which enemies need to be in the zone, and like for once this could happen by enemies just walking into them, but you can also really take advantage of them. Like you have a small time window where you can guide enemies or push enemies into these explosions, and most enemies will just die if you hit them, so if you do this well, then you can take loads of advantage of them. Like similar are the like fence traps that we have, which just add like new barriers into each level.
The which ones?
Like the ones that just
the
build like a wall.
fences. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those.
So if you get used to like different layouts and the fact that you can dash through that and enemies not, you can essentially change the layout of the room quite frequently in a way that's super beneficial to you because you have more mobility than the enemies and you can guide them or split them up using those tools.
Yeah, I like that the fences also block projectiles, so I don't
Yes.
have to worry about ranged attacks. And you
But
can
then-
just put one enemy at a time, yeah.
There are also loads of locations where they are built up in a way that you can like build your own castle essentially, and you have like a safe-ish space where you can hang out in for as long as you want or until the enemies overrun that. But you can also easily get out of that, and there are a few locations in the game where I really like to set up these fence barriers or like other traps that function similar to this, and then stay in there and try to like keep this position for as long as possible. But then when the enemies get there, I just move out of the location and then switch the traps off and essentially open up the location again so they can walk out and then redo that until they die.
Like, psych.
I'm doing okay, but for some reason I just
Yeah.
feel like a little stressed. So much pressure. 100% punch run is fun though. Yeah, I should maybe for my last one do another punch run. I think I tried earlier, but I wasn't getting the right vault items that I wanted, so I want to do a more punch focused run. Okay, let's see how we do. Boom.
I hope you get the satchel next time.
The satchel?
The satchel item.
What is that?
It drops a bear trap every time you dash.
Ooh, oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I want that. Very
That one's amazing.
right now I'm getting a good amount of bear traps. I just got the item that lets you bear trap every time an enemy dies. Trap. Now it's starting.
Yeah, well, like, but I think you can really feel like the damage reduction from the Bloodsucker item, and also like 2 enemies just died because of that while doing this. So there's like definitely like some return on this.
There's just so many things that I want to do. I'm sometimes bad at choosing what moves to use.
There you go.
Nice.
That's also why we have
Well,
me
last
doing the
one.
streams, because if it was one of you doing it, you'd be too
I don't know about that.
good.
Hey, a really cool thing that we currently have with this like railgun and tornado combination is that now not only do we push all of the enemies together, we also stagger them constantly, because the railgun will bring these stagger capabilities while the other one just pulls all of the enemies close. So
Can you talk about what staggering means?
oh yeah, so if you punch enemies, well, or like hit them with almost any attack in the game, they will have like an animation that they play through during which they can't attack you. And so if you keep hitting enemies, then let's say you just keep punching these turrets with your punches, then you will see that they won't fight back, essentially, as long as you can keep this going. And like, for example, with the tornado, you can see that this one doesn't really interrupt the enemies, just moves them around.
Right.
And this is the case for many like super multi-hitting attacks.
Can't use the javelin. It's
But
okay.
everything that like requires like multiple punches, or like multiple attacks from something will make sure that the enemies can't hit back. So you can be on the offensive against the same enemy all the time. There are a few exceptions of that. For example, the overseers can break out of your attacks. But all of the basic enemies, you can essentially keep them locked. And if you can do this in a larger area, then this is really powerful, because this means that you can have multiple enemies essentially like stationary and ready for you to beat them up without being essentially without needing to be afraid of them hitting you back.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, got another cannon trap. Got some explosions in the corner. What else we got? Do people in this world have coin purses or key rings? That is a
That's a
great
good question.
Oh yeah, they definitely have key rings. They have like multiple of them. Some of them I've heard like as many that they actually have purses for their key rings.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so they've got like hundreds of keys hanging off of them.
Yes, exactly.
Lockdown
Seems happy.
completed.
They're just like hula hooping them.
It's a really grim world.
Carnivore. Bear traps. Critical hit chance goes well with what I have so far. That also, well, oh man. Well, this also increases critical hit chance. I'm gonna go with this. It seems a little more versatile. And I don't want to risk taking more damage, so I'm just gonna go on to the next area.
I can press forward now.
These guys move so fast. Do they move a lot
Right?
faster than the
Yeah, they're quite a bit faster than the like normal belt ones.
guns? They're so cute.
They also leap at you when they attack, so
Ah.
they frequently get you off guard.
Yeah.
Is there any concept art of the key money? I want to make 3D models of them to print.
Ooh.
I mean,
I mean-
maybe there should be, right?
There should be. I think Maria just made a few sketches and they were like so clean that we just like immediately took them and just put them in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so definitely. There are different types of keys as
Bringing
well.
this to count.
Some have like a jewel in them, some are just like copper or silver. Yeah.
Okay.
Try to print some and then just use them in the supermarket. And well, believe me, this will be relevant in the next like 5 years.
A key coin.
Oh.
So like the combination of tornado push and the like death bear trap should be really good here because like the spike balls will fall into this and then die and then you get
Right.
the bear traps out of time.
I also like having the spike traps on the side, and I'll just like place myself
Yeah,
somewhere in between, and I just like run into the spikes.
little unlucky or lucky depending on your playstyle here with the layout, but like you can take loads of advantage with them, like specifically to get out of the spike traps, spike balls.
Mm.
Dang. Yeah, get
I
into
think
that.
I also like to keep one spike ball alive,
You do?
because unless all of them are dead, I don't think
Ah.
the spit face spawns
Yeah,
new.
it has
Is
a
that
spawn
true?
limit.
I think so, from what I've noticed playing this so far.
Yeah, like Spitfire definitely has a spawn limit for how many things you can push out.
You can do it, Ian.
Yeah, I'm feeling okay.
You're almost there.
I'm really low on heat,
Spine
and it's
is
a little
already
hard to
dead.
get heat in my current situation. But yeah, at least one of them is dead, so I can play it a little more safe.
I think also the rust works really well here. It's like essentially complete uptime on the boss.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that most of our damage right now is like coming from status effects and bear traps.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of bear traps going off on him. Ah.
The spit face looks like the uncle coming.
Oh no!
You must have an interesting uncle.
A really mean set of relatives.
It's just the way that he walks.
Like pack leg walk.
With his mouth open. Okay. There we go. Okay. Well, I feel good about that, I guess.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. Let's see how much farther I can do. I felt like
Full trapper.
what?
Full trapper left out. We have picked up enough trapper items and improvements, so
Yes.
we get this offered a lot now.
I've never seen a whole level with just like a single benefactor in it.
But if you actually like build for something, like so if you actively ignore items of other benefactors, you only increase the chance of one of them rising because benefactor chance gets increased for every like item you
really?
pick up. Which means if you make the conscious decision to just pick up specific things, you can increase the chance of specific items you get later on in the run.
That's
That
good
makes
to
a lot
know.
of sense.
Okay, yeah.
That's
'cause-
why it feels so good.
Yeah. I like specializing for sure. Ah. Come on. Come on, over here.
Here you go.
Yes.
Beholder is one of these enemies. Like the overseer here. It's one of these enemies that is actually fast enough during its like spin attack, so it can move out of the tornado.
Yeah.
So you will slow it down and like quite a bit actually, like, enough to make it very easier to dodge this attack, but can get to you even so it gets pulled back into the tornado.
The these guys, the Hellgrunts, also seem like they're moving too fast to get stuck.
Yeah, they walk slowly out of it. Like,
They are blocking the javelin.
which is an issue that can be solved by just putting down 2 tornadoes.
Ah, yes, okay. Wait, like right on top of each other?
Yes,
It doubles
you
the
will double
suction?
the... Yes.
Oh my god. Pro
Have you
tip.
tried it before? Just bringing 2 javelins that both have a tornado on them?
Yes, like I tried a few builds where you, obviously you do this for different aux mods then, but there are like cool combinations with rooted and drain, so you can keep all of the enemies trapped in one location and just constantly suck their life.
Can't use the javelin when it's so
Creates a
easy.
build where you basically have infinite health, so as long as you don't just die, you will usually be full life throughout the entire fight, entire like, run.
Yeah, drain is pretty great, I must say.
It's like it is low damage, and like you're definitely sacrificing something there, but you can keep your health top up for most of, like, essentially
Smash
most
them.
fights. It's really good recovery tool between encounters as well.
Yeah. I think I used
Ooh.
a drain. Oh,
Oh.
go
Fish
to.
hooks is really good, and this is also really good with what we have here.
Yeah, but it costs more heat.
It costs more heat,
Even
yes.
more.
But screw it. Oh, ooh.
So it will
Speaking of
first pull the
vacuum,
enemies into your tornado from even further away now, and then keep them in them because the tornado keeps pulling them in.
oh,
Mm.
that is sweet. Okay, I forgot about that item.
Yes, it is the vacuum build that we're currently putting together.
I remember the tornado being slightly different at the very beginning, so it changed over time, right?
It got loads of iterations. It's certainly the one mod that got the most reworks, I would say. It's like it was not clear in the beginning what we want to go with for this one. And
Makes sense,
specifically because you get it later into the game, we also wanted something that like really shakes up how you play the game.
Mm. Yeah, because in the beginning, it would push enemies away rather than drawing them in.
Blocking the javelin.
So at the moment it does basically like you push them with the manuals and you pull with stomp and throw.
Mhm.
And this gives the player like loads of agencies over enemy positionings when you use this mod, because you can do both.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, the spreadshirt turrets are always the ones that giving it the most grief.
They're so nasty.
Yeah, it's such a mean attack.
Yeah. Even though it's such a simple concept, somehow they're like the most annoying enemies. So I always like try to defeat them as fast as I
Me
can.
too. They're always priority
Yeah.
number one.
They also have like they're also like really low health in comparison to everything else. So like you're heavily encouraged to go for them first. But like approaching them is frequently not easy.
Mm. You can dash through the line of bullets though.
Yes, if you
So
time
that's
it
really
right,
good.
you can dash through it. I also found that like a really safe approach is to just use a wall, or like, I mean if there is one, but use a wall or something to approach them from the side. So you essentially allow them to like put one shot into the wall and then just dash past them, so you can hit them in the back.
Somebody asked if there's rare, unique enemies that can spawn randomly.
So that there is like wouldn't say rare and unique. Like there is a good roster of enemies that will like spawn in your fights, but like some of them have like some like for like the overseer. Some of them will be considerably stronger than what you usually see with turrets and backgrounds. And if they have specific of these mutated effects like electrified that we talked about before, they can create really challenging encounters. So I wouldn't say that specifically enemies can be rare and unique, but there is like a setup for an enemy that could appear in your run that feels rare and unique.
Enemies have a lot of variation when they appear.
Yeah, yeah, and especially in these larger waves, it becomes like there's always a new challenge. And these guys just really stuck
The refrigerator mech sounds amazing. Like freezing attacks or something that stuns you for a second.
with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome Asgaril. You have a great general question, which is the game more casual or more for hardcore players? What do you guys think?
So I do think this kind of depends on how it's played. Like, the game is not necessarily easy, but you can outscale most of the things if you like put some effort into upgrades. So I think it's really hardcore if you just want to like win everything first try, but like going through a few runs you can scale really hard, and the interesting factor here is also if you start scaling really hard, this means you can pick up more items early in the run, which means that you scale like more throughout the run.
Yeah.
The game in general has a really high like escalation factor. So the moment things go well for you, you become really, really powerful. And so I would say it works well for both like a hardcore audience and a more casual audience. That the question is how much like power do you bring with? Like the first time you play the game, it is quite hardcore, but after you made like 4 or 5 runs of the same difficulty, you should have scaled high enough for this difficulty so you can like essentially pick up all items in the first 2 or 3 rooms, and then you should feel stronger than the enemies that you encounter.
On to the next room.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just got an item that I think is useless to me, as it has an effect against rooted enemies, but I actually don't know anything that gives rooted.
The traps root enemies.
The traps root enemies.
Every
the
bear trap
traps.
will, yes, they will apply the rooted effect.
Okay, what?
Oh, they do. That's true.
Okay, then let's
But yeah,
look at that again.
what I liked about this is that even if you're like a more casual player, I consider myself more casual, right? You can basically go through the rooms at your own pace most of the time, right? You
Yeah.
can decide how many lockdowns you want to take, if you want to skip something, and then as Philip said, if you get really good items, you can be really powerful, even without actually having to mash buttons, right? As in like actually doing attacks. Sometimes I have a run where I just have 2 dashing items, so I just keep dashing around, doing damage without doing a single attack and stuff. So
But
I really like that about the game.
The game has loads of like advanced like input systems that eventually allow you to like improve your gameplay. An example we could quickly show here is like Ian, if you just mash the punch button,
Oh, yeah.
you see that there is like a delay on your last punch, but if you now press the stomp after the last punch and then keep pressing punches again, you see that you cancel out of that, so you can essentially keep going faster and faster. But you don't need any of that to just pass through the game, so there are just really cool like setups that you can create with combining specific attacks, but it's not needed for any of that. And as Anne has mentioned, our pacing is really generous. Like you frequently only have to do 1 or 2 fights before you can move on, and you will find healing in the next room. So there is like a lot of like learning capabilities there that allows players to just like understand how the game works and play around with the mechanics before they get punished all the time.
Yeah, and like I was about to abandon this fight because I was low on health, but I just found some help, and I'm gonna try this again. That's I really want to know.
Good luck.
You don't sound very confident in my ability.
Oh, I'm super confident. You have that. You got that.
Okay.
Hamburger eating me said. Hi guys and girl. Will I be able to display the defeated boss from the demo in my camp in the full game if I play with the infinite health modifier on the settings? Thanks so
Yes.
much for the full game.
We made sure that accessibility settings will not stop you from like completing anything of the like that the game has to offer. If you want to play with accessibility options, this is like will not hinder you for any achievements or for any of the progressions that the game sets up.
Interesting.
That's awesome. Oh, I have so much money to spend it. So. Oh.
You got
No one
tricked.
gets with you.
I was like, ooh, what's over here?
Oh right, we are in run 2 there. There is no direct healing for this one.
No.
Oi.
I thought I was gonna get to a safe room.
There will be one after this, but
Oh great, after 3 encounters.
yeah, but you have 3 locks now, so yeah,
Oh
like
my God.
we see that we are at the like later stages of the game with this run.
Didn't even notice.
It's okay.
Also, I do have a question about the time challenges, right?
Yes.
There's different levels. So sometimes you just need to finish or reach the safe room within 10 minutes, and I think the shortest interval is like 2 minutes, right? Do you think it's possible to do 3 lockdowns within
Yes.
2 minutes?
I mean, we tried all of them, and it is definitely possible to get all of this done. There is some luck components. Like, it is right that having like complete 3 lockdowns in one thing might be really hard to do, but it's not like so the really tight challenges are only for run where the same challenges repeat every time, so you don't like skip out of them anymore. Which means that on the next run you have a new opportunity to get this done. It is possible with 3, but like things have to line up really well, and you have to have really strong items to do that.
Makes sense.
But there are definitely builds in this game where you just one-shot every enemy and frequently do this in like an area of effect as well. And with these setups, you can definitely get through 3 lockdowns. You just go in and then quickly complete it, and then you're done. But yeah, like there are like the later stages for these challenges are built around people having to find a way to get to them, rather than just unlocking them.
Oh,
Good job. Whoa.
You rust buckets left.
Yeah.
You even gained health.
I know. How did that
So-
happen?
It's the Spells of War item.
You're right. Now, I also could get this epic. Oh, this would be good because I'm so bad. Defeating rooted
Yeah.
enemies has this chance to just a 45% chance to restore 10 health. Okay,
That's pretty good.
I love that.
Yes.
Uh,
Requires you to apply rooted to them though, right?
which is I get through bear traps. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. And then, does the fishing hook also apply?
No, the fishing hook doesn't apply, but there are different ways. Like there, for example, there is a javelin that just comes with the rooted effect, or like a few javelins that just come with the rooted effect.
Right. Right. That's also great.
Okay.
One more?
2 more.
2 more. Oops.
Those who cannot be intimidated will be easily brought into submission.
You can do it.
Yeah, we got this. Don't
Just
get
do
You
them.
really
Right.
think these people, my subjects, want freedom?
The walls are great for dodging.
Yeah, it's like what was it? Like I think like the strongest way to avoid the holders. Oh my god! Like here overseers, impossible to change this habit, but it's to actively dash through them. But the timing needs to be quite precise to do that.
Oh, like dash into them, like towards
Yes,
them.
you. And they don't rotate fast enough to catch you, so you can dodge through them and then actively throw them in the back, like a javelin in the back, while after they pass through you. Timing for this is quite tough though, but using walls so you can have like a blocking object for their approach is also a really good way to get rid of them.
I don't think I will try dashing through them, actually.
Yeah.
It's a little too risky for me.
Oh my god, Machine and Mensch. Welcome, welcome. Hello.
Hello,
Yes, our
hello.
friends at Machine and Mensch have decided to raid us today. Hello, hello.
Welcome.
Who's joining us from Machine and Mensch? So, for anybody who doesn't know, Machine and Mensch are our friends and neighbors in the game development community. Ah, crap, sorry, this is big. I'm gonna
this
wait
is
to
like-
do the
this is a
intro
risky-
until after I'm done with this combat, or I'm gonna die. Because wow, there are suddenly so many enemies. Oh. We got it a little bit. We got it.
Yeah, it's looking good.
It's 2 guys. Oh. Oh.
No. Oh my god! I just
No!
Oh no. Oh, how tragic. Oh, wrecked indeed.
I've never seen that happen.
Anyway, hello, to everyone who just joined. Machine and Mensch, for people who don't know, there are friends and neighbors, as I said, in Berlin, and they are working on this awesome game called Mother Machine. Correct me if I say anything wrong, you guys, but it's basically like this really sick-looking co-op RPG adventure platformer, and I'm excited about it because I love co-op games and I really like how it looks. It's got this like, I don't know, almost claymation-y style with these funny little alien guys. So yeah, it looks sick, and they've just decided to raid us because they just finished up a stream.
Up you
So
get, love.
welcome to
The
everyone.
resistance is counting on us.
Ooh,
Now,
hope you had fun.
yeah. How did your run through go? Okay. I feel like I want to do one more very quick raid, and in order to do that, I need to get some upgrades. I'm gonna just
We also have like loads of money now because we
too.
managed to defeat the first boss, and bosses give you loads of money. So if you
Progress,
manage
at
to get through
least.
one of them, you already have something like strong at the end of that.
yeah.
Right.
I do like this build that I have. So I do want resurrection though. So what am I gonna give up?
Maybe the Spoils of War, because I feel like you don't get as much.
Maybe. Yeah, just
health
give me a
than you would
resurrection.
expect.
Onward.
That's what I need.
Andy is asking if we can give like a quick sum up of the game. Like, Ian, do you want to do this or should I?
You please, because I'm about to jump back in.
Okay. So essentially what this game is like you play Clef, it's the combat machinist, and essentially
you
a
for a
lady that
ride.
has a really long lance and punches robots with that. And then in like typical roguelike fashion, you can upgrade your character with specific elements. You can like select from a huge like selection of different javelins that have different movesets and different weapons and different utility mods that apply to them. And then you go into a bastion and fight robot enemies, and you're like with the overall objective of beating an evil queen that is like plaguing this world for like the
Am I
last
ready
few
to go?
centuries. And then again,
An
like typical
audience with
roguelike
Her
fashions, you go
Majesty.
in there, you find more power-ups as you progress through this bastion, and get stronger and stronger until you reach like a selection of different bosses that you can fight against using all of the things that you have collected so far.
Good overview. So I decided to try taking another secondary javelin. It's maybe not as powerful as a damage output combo, but I wanted it because it is another one that applies root to enemies. So I thought, well, there's a lot of things that affect rooted enemies from the trapper. So now if I can apply root, maybe that'll help. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the trapper generally combos well with Rooted. There seems to be some issue with the manual attack of this.
Yeah, what's happening? What's
I
happening?
don't know, this looks like the animation got some issue again.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, well, ignore that then.
Don't mind if I do.
I didn't notice.
Take a note of
But-
that.
Yeah, but generally, the like having something that applies root while going for the trapper is like a really strong setup because loads of the trapper
I can
items
raise the
escalate
bridge
really
now.
if you can apply root consistently.
I can definitely do it by a throw.
I can press
so,
forward now.
yeah, if I can throw to root and then maybe trap them in a tornado, we'll be doing okay.
Also, Mega Tails asked, will Reignbreaker ever have a co-op? If two players would be too overpowered, maybe? What if the pet bell from town can join you on a run and a second player can control
Oh.
it? Might be a good way to have
That
a
would be
parent
so
and the kids
cute.
play together.
It would be
That
like
would be
the
cute.
Nintendo
This would be a
games.
really cool co-op mode, yes.
Yes.
Like having like a support role with the bell, you can just like pick up certain things and bring them to Clef or something like that.
Mm.
Could you explain exactly how root works? Like,
Yeah, so okay, root essentially is a status effect that makes it so enemies can't move, so you can stop them like mid-attack, just walking to you, or all attacks a charge, you will also not move. It runs down. It's like a little timer on top of them that shows you how long it lasts. Once root is run out, enemies will become immune to root for a short duration, which is like another timer with a grayed out icon.
Oh, okay, that's what that is.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Oh gosh.
I think you'll notice it the most with the overseers.
Yes,
Just
like
because, like,
you can
they
stop their charge completely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, so you can, you know, like rain down the railgun, etc.
Ouch! Hot, hot, hot!
I don't think you've brought it with you.
No,
Okay.
I brought this pea shooter.
The javelin shrugged off.
Which, yeah, we'll see. I do like that I can just apply root, but I have to get used to it. Yet another play style. I don't know if you guys have this problem, but when I play roguelikes, it's especially hard when I play like a lot of runs at once, because I always forget like what items I have at the moment, because I get them mixed up with the previous runs. Like I still
Oh yeah, that happens to me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I wonder, it's like, why's the enemy not bleeding? And it's like, oh,
Yeah. Oh right, I don't
pick
have that
anything up.
anymore.
Yeah. So far it's looking good. The rooting effect is helping you a lot.
I do like this root. I am glad I brought it. I just need to get used to it a little bit. Chris Tofu asks, are there any ridiculously OP builds you can build? We did talk, yeah, a little bit about how if you get a lot of items, you can get really OP, but like, what are some specific ones that you have found that you think are really?
I think I like the combination of the vandalists.
Well, what were you hiding?
A a spray can that drops on dash with the bear traps that also drop on dash. Right? I don't know if that's OP, but it basically allows you to just like run around and like dealing damage.
Yeah, I love that one too.
I think that's why the vandalist items are pretty popular. I just like really liked. Cause yeah, they're just like really fun to play.
I think I'm at a stand that it feels to me that every build you pick up kinda ends up in this is OP.
Javelin's overheated.
But this is probably because like after playing this for a long time, there are like always the things like that you understand that, oh, this one item works now with the other two that I got, so I can make the combo complete. Something that I really like is if you go for the Spearmaster mobile toss and combine this with the projectile immunity while aiming, you basically become immune to most things in the game because you just dodge away from enemies while projectiles can't hit you.
Oh.
And this also makes it so your heat recovers really quickly. Put up like one or two other heat items on this and you have essentially
Lockdown
infinite heat.
completed.
And then there are like a plethora of items that just boost your throw damage, so you can be on distance the entire fight, just killing everything in front of you while nothing can ever reach you. I put a build together at one point that had like loads of these damage immunity items, or like resistance items,
Oh yeah.
and effects that when you get hit. And I did reach a point where I could just stand in bullets, and I was regenerating faster than the enemy were hitting me as long as I was like,
nice.
triggering my items. So enemies just died around me while they was punching me, and I just had to make sure that all of the flash wound effects like get activated at the right time, and then everything just
Oh, black
fell in
swordsman.
place.
I think I'm getting the hang of this. Like if I throw this pea shooter to root an enemy and then hit him with a tornado, that's like a pretty good move. So I do that, now he's rooted, and now I can throw that, and then it's a tornado and can't move.
Yeah, that's very convenient.
And that's the thing, like
On to the
I
next.
still feel like I've barely explored all the different combinations of javelins that you can bring, because as I said, I'm kind of scared of bringing along two at once. But I need to be better. I need to improve my And I think
I
I have
feel
over
you.
the live stream. The live stream
Trap
skills.
set.
Oh. Oh.
At Measure Tails, the tornado, if you combine it with the the throw attack of the tornado will move like slowly forward after impacting enemy. So it moves the enemy slowly and the tornado moves with them. So there is like a stationary version with the stomp and there's a moving version with the throw, and depending on which action you do, you get one or the other effect.
Ooh.
Oh, that one's good.
Oh.
I think you might want
Yes, if the enemy
mode of-
moves, the tornado moves if you stick them. So you can push enemies around with the tornado on them to move the tornado around as well.
Yeah, I was considering as to whether I wanted to get the Spear Sister item, but since I think in this run, throwing is going to be a little bit better than slamming. Like my last one, I was doing a lot of slamming. But in this run, I might do a lot of throwing. So now it's going to generate a lot less heat. Oh, I wish I had all the cash for
Let's
my last
purchase
one.
some power.
Ooh,
Ooh,
legendary. Oh, I don't know.
it's unfortunate.
Whatever.
Which one's the highest rarity? Is legendary?
Legendary.
Track
Oh.
switched.
Sounds
It
good.
feels so good to get a legendary. There is an item that you can get that increases, like, generally the likelihood of seeing legendary items, right?
Yes, it's what you currently have for the trapper.
Oh, yeah. But there's also one that does it in general, I think.
There is no. So there are four for each of the benefactors that all boost the same pool though. So if you get all four of them, you get loads of legendaries. But there is one that makes the how much items you get from a locker go up, and obviously if you combine this, you get more items from lockers, and then also have the rarity of them boosted, so you get
Okay,
more
nice.
legendary
Nice,
items.
nice. Okay, let's vanquish. Ooh.
Trap set.
No, that's looking good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of executions all at once.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, one thing I think people might not realize at first is that you can chain executions. So like a bunch of enemies ready to be executed. You just go bam, 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 bam. Very
Look
satisfying.
at them all huddled together.
I know, it's so beautiful. Brings a tear to my eye.
So many of these spread turrets.
I know.
But Eden really has them under control this time around.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like this combo of javelins. Like, it was a little awkward for me at first, but I think this is a winner.
I think I found my favorite combination like really early.
What is that?
So I don't think I've ever
I
played
can
the
break the
tornado one.
gridlock now.
I like the blast, right? The
Oh
blast
yeah,
javelin.
so blast is gonna be our focus next week. So can you explain also what that is?
It's basically a huge explosion. If you stay within the blast area, you also take a little bit of damage, but that's fine. You're moving around a lot anyways.
But yeah, it's a
Right,
little
and
bit
that one-
riskier.
Yeah, it does like big damage though, so I like that. And then I usually combine it with a more versatile javelin that doesn't generate as much heat, and I just like move around with that. So I use I think the one that I use the most is like the Divine Blast. The Divine Blast javelin, and then I use it with some shotgun. Or like a shotgun.
What does the Divine
javelin.
Blast Javelin do?
I think it actually has like an increased crit rate.
Ah,
Good chance. Right?
This is also really good with blast because big numbers is good if you are good if you double them up, right?
yes.
Exactly.
Oh,
Because you can't take damage if the enemies are gone.
Very wise, very true. So one other thing about the what's it called, the thing where you pull it in, is that you can like pull them through traps. Which is
Yes.
That's great.
I never thought of doing that. That's kind of an easier, even way of getting them into traps, as long as you can get to the other side, but then you don't have to like worry about pushing them in a certain direction. Be quick about it.
It's actually a big reason why we added this item, is so you can not only push people, push enemies into traps, but also pull them, which comes really in handy in some locations. There's also like cool combinations that you can do where you push enemies and then pull them back, so they just get pushed into the same trap twice.
Yeah. Maybe I should try those too.
Serves you
Should
right.
switch up my equipment once in a while.
Traps. That sounds great. So what do I got here so far? Let's remind. Okay, so I have better traps. Throw does damage in the surroundings, costing less heat. Getting hit causes that to be reset. Performing a slam reels on enemies, and only takes scratch damage when hit. Okay. I'm feeling good about this build so far.
Yeah, pretty good spread.
I can press forward
Let's
now.
keep on going, because I want to get out here. I need gosh darn chimera. Ooh! What is this? Oh, it's purple now. We changed that recently, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. It used to be like similar looking to another statue that you get.
To the health item, yes.
Oh man.
I guess upgrading the motor cooler
They're both
is the
so
most
good.
versatile, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go with that, but I really like this.
Being able to use more javelins has never been a bad thing in this game.
That is so true. Okay, I'm just gonna keep on going here because, oh, this is the boss, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah, now I
These
have
two again.
I have spikes this time.
Yeah. Immediately gets it.
Immediately get. Okay. Oh god.
Oh.
Yeah, you can dash through those as well. I think.
Like
Into the sword, yeah, I think so.
Yes, you can definitely dash traditional sort of thing.
Oh, the root is amazing for this boss fight.
So
Yeah.
the root actually works on these guys. I wasn't sure about that.
Yes.
Oh,
The
sick.
root actually works on all of the bosses.
Oh my god.
Root doesn't discriminate between enemies.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's also a really strong tool to like navigate boss fights.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a strong tool in general because it just like gives the player way more breathing room. Like if you have single enemy slowdown or specific enemy slowdown, but like in bosses specifically, it feels like a lot of more space is generated by you just being on the other side of the room.
Yes.
So-
Oh gosh, those swings are so
God.
nasty.
They sure are.
Oh. Oh. Gosh, he's just eating me up. Oh.
You got it. Yeah, it looks like the Wow, that's a lot of damage. Look at him, he's almost dead.
Oh yeah.
Nice,
Boom,
kid.
boom.
Yeah,
Nice.
one's down.
One's down.
This one is chill.
This one's
Yeah.
chill. Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as one of them is gone, they get like they get extra moves from having the other one die.
Do they?
But it's still, yeah, they do. Like the beholder gets, the overseer gets like a sword shockwave attack addition, and it will be a surprise attack for people that haven't seen it for the split phase. But it's still like there's so much pressure removal after you make sure that one of them
Yeah.
is not chasing you anymore.
Let's see. Let's put it here. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was pretty good. I like the jar one that stumbles and spills the green stuff. Pretty cute. Yeah, despite these being very deadly, it's quite cute. Legendary. Oh, gotta upgrade my legendaries. Do you is that a good strategy to upgrade the legendaries? That's what I always
So-
do. But-
Yes, so your upgrades are a percentage benefit
Okay.
for different stats, and higher rarity items have higher stats. So this is a good thing. If you do this through the shop, though, like higher rarity items are also more expensive to upgrade.
Yeah, that's why I like getting it for free.
Yeah, getting it for free is really good.
It's always better. Okay, let's see who we got.
This goes here.
There's a time limit.
Oh, there is a crap. Okay.
You have none.
I think you'll do it. Funnily enough, it takes me the longest time to eliminate the turrets for some reason.
Yeah, they stand like on the side frequently and just poke at you.
Yeah.
Phew.
Oh, it could also be because
There is
I
always room for
I
improvement.
take this item with me that reduces my punching power, and I usually punch them. So I'm like, why are they so tanky? It's because I nerf myself.
Oh,
Oh, the satchel.
yes!
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
this is what I've wanted the whole time. Satchel
Same, I've
traps.
been hoping for this.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
Look at that.
Okay, so, but, what are my synergies here? So I have a bear trap, but,
Hmm.
well, let's see. I don't know if I currently have a lot of things that will synergize with that. So I still need to get some items, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
But I'm
you
just,
already have the one that increases trap damage, though, right?
but
And it's
that's
like
not.
70.
Does that count these?
No, this does not count these.
No, it
There's a
doesn't.
separate one for them.
Oh,
The separate items.
they counted it.
Yes. So like the dash cans traps are quite good by themselves already, just because well they root enemies when they try to get to you, and you dash away from them so they can like move to you. But yeah, it would be really good if we find like one or two more like trap synergy items now.
Yes. So I'm gonna focus on just the master crapper items. See how we do. Oh, there are just. Don't get hit.
Oh, you
Oh
can
god, I'm
deactivate
not
those.
good at these.
Yeah, those spikes, I kept running into them. So it's like the first thing I deactivate when I
Can
enter
I
this
activate
room.
them? Can I deactivate those?
They're currently deactivated.
Yeah. There's two of them too. Two overseers.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. The second one. I'm just gonna hang out then. There we go. I
Good
did
job.
it!
The rust effect.
Oh my god. thank you,
Easy
Russ.
peasy.
You love Rust. Yeah, this is feeling a lot better than my last pull.
Hmm.
Oh! Performing a slam. Okay, so this is an upgrade.
It's the upgrade, yes.
Well, I'm loving the fish hook, so I'm just
All
gonna
seals removed. On.
that, and then increases
There's
critical
a-
hit chance against rooted. Bear traps have a higher critical hit chance. That's good.
Yes.
And critical hit
Also
chance
this
have a
one.
chance to recover all of them, but that's epic. I don't know. Let's power bear traps because what?
The items that boost the rooted effects also all work with the bear traps because all of them are rooted.
Okay, very good.
That's good to know.
Oh my gosh, another
Another
power up
upgrade.
thingy. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Yeah, point is really strong.
And it goes really well with the tornado between points because you're and the fish hook because you're grouping items enemies together, and then you can do AOE on them. Great deal. Okay, that's these guys.
I love the explosions.
It's always so satisfying.
Yeah, I
For
guess.
sure.
do. Oh god.
Trap set.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
That's rough.
This looked like a can opener.
Yeah. Come on. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
You
one is
got
gone.
it.
I love using the explosions against these guys because you have to. You have to be good at timing. But it's just so satisfying. Go. Enemies vanquished. Okay. Let's see. Upgrade. Yeah.
I can break the bridge.
I will always take. Sharpened jaws. Bear traps deal more damage and have an increased critical hit chance. I'm not even looking at the other ones. Give me that.
Yeah, that's great.
This won't
Oh
stop
crap.
me.
Shouldn't have done that. It's okay. I feel like.
But you have like loads of AoE this time. Just keep attacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also they're like rooted, so they can't overwhelm you that easily.
Do AoE with my arrow.
And now that all of the backgrounds can't get to you because there are like way too many traps in the way.
Yeah. Is there a limit on how many bear traps you can have activated at the same time?
Yes, it's 5.
Oh.
But the different bear trap items all have different pools, so you can get more if you have so
Whoa,
if you have
really?
the enemy death bear trap,
Oh my
then
god.
you can stack the number with the others.
Good to know. Okay, so I need to find something that gives me even more about bear traps. Let's see if I can get one. If I can be quick enough.
They are blocking the javelin.
I think he just ran into the spikes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
nice. Thank you, Spikes.
So when we built this corner, like we named this the beholder corner because if you dodge the beholder like on mid halfway, then it
Oh.
always paths down there. So it feels like a garbage chute where they just like run into after you dodge them with charge.
It's so funny.
That's okay. So now I just got the item that also drops bear traps when I destroy enemies. So
Nice.
basically,
that's great.
Unstoppable. Oh,
It's going to be really nice with all of these spread balls.
yeah, I don't like
Yes.
these actually. It's,
Oh, they will give you so many
The
traps.
javelin shrugged off.
that's true. I just don't like
Those
their
spread balls.
acid.
Spread balls are really mean though. Like they chase you down, they're quick, and then they make the entire stage hard to navigate.
Nasty.
Yes.
You know what? I do like rooting the Hellbell grunts. Because they move around so much and they fill up the space with acid so much, so quickly.
Like root and slowing effects are really strong against all of these like fast enemies. It's just like they just keep them off you.
Yeah, I feel bad not using a rooting javelin until now. Like, this is really good.
I was lucky to get one really early. So it made my runs a lot easier when doing QA.
Nice. So the bigger ones are from defeating enemies, right?
Yes. They also
Yes.
deal way more damage than the others.
What's that snared?
So increases critical hit chance against rooted enemies and inflicts stun on them.
Yes, this is a really
That's very
strong
good.
effect. It is worth noticing that bosses are immune to stun.
Okay.
Oh,
But every other enemy that is rooted will not be able to do anything. And
This
most
is
bosses
similar, but
spawn
just-
enemies.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. The Chimera also does. And so I'll get that. Because I do often start messing up once the Chimera spawns.
This is also a really strong version of stun because it lasts for the duration of rooted, and root lasts way longer than stun usually does. So, like, this one really disables enemies.
Nice. Looks like you'll be.
Oh my god.
Wait. Spend your
Yes,
money.
yeah, I
Loads
was
of
just
money,
checking
yeah.
to see if this was the last one. Okay, so heat cooldown is increased and critical hit. Okay, so these are both used up after getting hit, but whatever. I have the money. This is the boss. So
30% crit chance. Just don't get hit, and you will be really good with that.
yeah, well, I feel like I'm gonna lose that instantly, but I shouldn't say that. Okay, wiping off the sweat. Ooh, yes,
that's
one
not
more
great to pick up.
predator, Crapmaster, sharpened jaws. Oh yeah, let's get that.
That one's good.
I
Yeah.
can raise the bridge now.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go then.
Tell me if I'm doing something stupid.
I doubt it. You got this.
You got this. It's like no one ever had issues with this.
Oh my
Lock in,
God.
Ian. Lock in. Oh yeah, right. Oh, that's great
Oh, yeah.
for the Chimera as well.
Rooted is really good against the camera, yeah.
It's really good. And then there's just like a line of bear trap. I need to work on my timing a little bit for this.
It's also like a really cool thing if you have the like bear traps on dash and the swift maneuvers stuff, then you leave bear traps every time you dash away while throwing, which means like while you're attacking and moving away from enemies, you also stop them from following you. Combine this with being immune to projectiles while aiming, and then this means that you stop enemies from getting to you, and well, if the enemy does this mute shockwave, you just aim at them and the shockwave misses you.
It's really good. Yeah,
So the shockwave counts as a ranged attack. What about
Every attack that's not like a melee swing is yeah, so the lightning is also a ranged attack. Like loads of attacks are ranged attack. Everything that's not like a melee swing in some way is a ranged attack.
Oh my god, then I should definitely get that.
This is a really strong item, yes.
Yeah.
But that being said, like most of the items that we have in the game, like can escalate into something really powerful if you combine them with one of the things.
Ah! He already called in his friends.
I thought that was a second phase thing too, but it seems like he does it below 50 HP or something.
Yeah, so the first phase has like a timer element to it, and it starts escalating. You can't beat him fast enough, and then the second phase is an escalation of this version.
I feel like it's escalating faster. It's
It's a little mean.
Oh. I do have to remember though, I have the resurrection.
No resurrection.
You do.
Yes.
Nice.
Which I definitely needed. Just continue slowly. Oh my gosh, this guy has so many moves.
Yeah. Then we'll be ranged with the turrets all around.
I think it really helps, like, finding a strategy to beat him on the way that you get there.
You hear my cat?
Now.
No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
Okay. He's yelling at me right now. He's
my
mad that I
God.
failed. But okay, well, I did finally get to the Chimera, and despite losing, I was really happy with that build. I think I just need to get a little better at using that. But yeah, I guess that's gonna wrap it up for this stream. In my final stream next week, maybe I can finally beat this guy. Wouldn't that be something? So if you want to see me, maybe do that. Tune in again at the same time. Thank you all in the chat for being here. Thank you to Machine and Mensch for rating our stream. That was super nice of y'all. And of course, thank you to my wonderful colleagues An and Philip. Any last words, you guys?
Thank you for organizing these streams all the
Yeah.
time. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
fun to hang out.
It's fun as hell.
Thank you.
So I guess that's it then. Have a lovely rest of your Wednesdays, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Yeah,
Oh, I
bye
will put them
bye.
out.
Come get some.
Okay, bye.